Whether you're a die-hard fan or just looking for a good laugh, this monthly series promises to deliver the unexpected with a dash of humor. Tune in as Lance and BT dissect the what the fuck moments that make MMA and pro wrestling the exciting spectacles they are. It's time to let loose and embrace the madness with the WTF News Desk, where Lance and BT bring you the 10 strangest and most fun topics each month, leaving you entertained, amused, and eagerly awaiting the next episode.
All right, we're live from 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an stspod.club production. I want to thank, first off, for Tom the Tree. Is it Tom the Tree Man or Tim the Tree? I don't know. He did a new theme, and Lance, you're going to like this. That was a short version. But if you want the long version, baby, the long version, you got to go to the main feed to get it. Lance, I need to play something really quick, and I hate to start the show and get so fucking serious, but here we go. I got to do this. Well, last night on Dynamite, we saw the end of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. It's over. Man salute. Hush. We must mourn. Hey, guys, I'm BT. This is episode 809, episode 153 of Cool Kids Countdown. He's Lance. He likes to daydream about music playing, and he loves to run naked in the streets. That's Lance right there. He's from Chicago, where storms brought heavy rain and hail in parts of the Chicago area Thursday morning. He's a snark of excellence, my partner in crime, your friend of mine. Well, sometimes. He is Lance Levine, and we're the two best vanilla Oreos in the podcasting business.
Tastiest treats, I thought.
Oh, man, shit. You're going to have to remind me of that.
Hey,
Lance, how the hell are you, man?
I am here in the Loaded Taco Corn Nut Studios in Chicago. I am excited. We're done with the hail.
Nuts.
Thankfully, the Loaded Nut Studios. That's right. So we're done with the hail. Everything's good in Chicago tonight. It's a little chilly, but hail, yeah. So we are all set for the WTF News Desk. This was a packed month. God,
man, you're always doing something to make it work, but this month is packed. If you're joining us on the live feed right now,
handing us the stories.
Yeah, we go to commercial break and then we go to Patreon. Guys, y'all need to stay with us and also get on Patreon because we still have a bunch of fun stories. We want to say something about Cool Kids before I do the business.
That's right. Cool Kids. I have it on my calendar that today is the 8th anniversary of Cool Kids, the Facebook group that you, me, and Robinson started with a couple other cronies that are still in there. A couple of them are long gone, but we started that as a community to talk about wrestling and MMA 8 years ago. Now I have it in my records 8 years. Facebook's telling me it's 9 years, so I don't know. Maybe they include the parole when I was in jail for a while there as far as Facebook jail. I don't know, but
I want to say it's 9 years because we've been doing the podcast for 7. That sounds about right because, and I give it credit. If it wasn't for that group, we would have not done the podcast. I mean, I was putting stuff on my Facebook, and you and Tom Robinson and a few other guys were
doing
commenting.
The Raw thread. We were doing the Raw thread.
And then
all of a sudden, Raw was always more exciting back then. They went through a dry spell for a long time, and still 3 hours is still too long. But it's obviously much better now. But that's how it all started. We just started doing a live thread during Raw. And then it grew from there. Robinson got the idea to start a group, and we named it Cool Kids, and it went from there. So we've been up to, I don't know, like 500 members and stuff. And a handful of guys contribute all the time, but it's just always fun breaking news stories and seeing people's reaction to the shows and everything, and the pay-per-views. There's always some fun stuff going on in there. So you guys should apply to join if you so
That's
desire.
right. You have to apply to join. It's a fun group. Thread on most major pay-per-views and a thread on Raw and Dynamite every week, if you will. And I don't watch stuff live, so I don't contribute, and also I don't if we're reporting a pay-per-view. But we do have an upcoming dynasty of AEW, and if I get to watch it live, I'll jump in there if I don't have problems with the and I read the Observer, like you said. I wasn't the only one that was having problems. All right, real quick, let's do some business. Number 3 of last month was Halftime Show. This was in February. Episode 799 released during the Super Bowl. I mean, the big game.
The big game.
At halftime, yes.
You can't say that. How dare you?
Thank you to everyone that listened to that. Number 2, a local guy, Morgan Williams, who just wrestles in this area, is not even on Memphis Wrestling, episode 802. Very, very fun show. And if you listen to the Patreon show, it's the only show I've ever had a guest feed his dog or take his dog outside while I'm interviewing him.
Did the dog shit his pants?
I don't know. Possibly he was about to shit. And episode 800 was number 1. We had such a great time that night with episode 800 with friends. After I got off, I told the wife, I said, that's friends from all of from high school, college, just mixed up together there. Here's something about episode 800. It's number 13 in the past 12 months. Now, remember, it's just a month old, so it's doing huge, huge numbers. Everyone seemed to love it. It was not totally a wrestling show, but it was fun.
That show was so nice, we did it twice.
There we go. 400% increase from last year's February, 221% increase over 2023 so far. That's our business for February. Hey, man, let's get started. What do you do at number 10 every freaking month? What do we do?
Every month at the WTF news desk, we shine a spotlight on stipulation matches. We just happen to find a lot of them in Japan. Those people they do some different things over there that we don't do in the States. So we're going to start with DDT, Brian. This is where we're going, DDT. The show is the... Isn't there a dark side, or just had a dark side on that guy? All right, so DDT's Pro Wrestling Winterfest 2024 in Joetsu Day 2 card. It was February 18th. Our guy, Don Shaco Dino, we've talked about him monthly, I feel like. So Don Shaco Dino goes to a no contest with Super Sasadango Machine. So they both fell asleep during the match. That's how the
match went. What's a Sasadango?
I don't know, but he's a
super machine, or super machine.
He's not
was
just
a big
a
deal.
Sasadango machine; he's a super one. But they both fell asleep during the match. So Dino came out tired. He was already tired. He had a rough schedule apparently. So Sasadango is his buddy, I guess. So he said that the match can be a recovery death match to take it easy on Dino, so he could relax. So Sasadango gave him a massage during the match. He gave him a vertical. I knew that would get your attention. Vertical drop onto a pillow. He put him in a sleeper. Obviously, that seems like
obviously, yes.
And then he had the fans count sheep in the ring too. So I mean, I don't know how the fans counted sheep in Japanese. I'm not sure what the number system is, but anyway. So the problem here is they both fell asleep because there was somehow a futon and a quilt found its way into the ring. So they both fell asleep. They slept through intermission. Now, this was in Tokyo, so I'm going to say Meltzer probably gave it 6 stars because it took place in Tokyo. So a 6-star match where both guys fell asleep. So the other match we've got is Tokyo Joshi Pro. It was February 24th. It was the Beat Power 24 card in Osaka. The match was a bite into the sour and sweet and never miss an opportunity rules match. And in this match, Hyper Misao beats Nao Kikuta. So the rule of the match was if there is a rope break during the match, the person who grabs the rope had to drink a cup of lemon juice, undiluted lemon juice, or they would lose by disqualification. So I'm just going to say I'm glad Randy Orton wasn't there because I'd be concerned about that lemon juice if Randy Orton was there, what was in the cup. So those are our stip matches at number 10, Brian.
As always, fun. Super Strong Machine mask. The Super Strong Machine mask is probably where they get Super Machine from. But the Super Strong, I actually wore that as the BT Express. There you go. There's a little bit.
Wait, that was you?
Back in the day.
Wow. Breaking news.
We couldn't get real masks. You couldn't just order them off the internet. A dude got that from Japan. Rick Davies. Shout out to Rick Davies. He's been on the show. And I wore that. I love the mask. And you also, when you got Japanese wrestling games, you could make super strong machine mask with everybody because it was. And so I always had a BT Express. Always fun. We still have plans to bring our buddy Tony Myers on to have him talk about. Maybe we could get a Cool Kids countdown and sit down with him, me and you. The 10 craziest places he's had matches and everything.
Yeah. Or the 10 craziest matches too. He's probably done some of this stuff if he's been.
Yes, he's done some crazy stuff. Like I said, I seen one time he was backstage, and then they showed the ring or the match where it was, and it looked like those mats that you take naps on, and it was in a restaurant. So there we go. Strange. Yeah. All right, what about number 9?
All right, number 9. We got Meltzer sets us straight on Mexican names and fully explains the CMLL AEW situation. So first we're going to send it to Silas, our intrepid reporter Silas. We're going to send it to him. He's going to interpret Dave's interpretation of Humberto Garza and Humberto Garza. So we're going to throw it to Silas.
He likes to do our dramatic readings, but I asked him to do this one for us. So here we go.
Great guy.
The decision was made to change the name of Humberto Garza Carrillo to just Berto. They've been toning down the Carrillo and Garza names in the tag team of him and first cousin Angel Garza, whose real name is also Humberto Garza, but Garza Solano. For those who don't know about Mexican names, when you have 3 names, the first name is your first name. The second name is the last name that you usually go by, so both are Humberto Garza. The third name is your complete name, which is the maiden name of your mother. The decision was made to change the name of Humberto Garza Carrillo to just Berto. They've been toning down the Carrillo and Garza names in the tag team of him and first cousin Angel Garza, whose real name is also Humberto Garza, but Garza Solano. For those who don't know about Mexican names, when you have 3 names, the first name is your first name.
All
the
right,
second name is the last name that you usually...
I forgot it done that. I'm sorry about
Silas.
that. Silas likes to talk. I'm sorry.
He is a windbag, that Silas.
Woo.
I'm glad he explained it because now it's crystal clear to me about why Humberto Garza and Humberto Garza are 2 different people.
I was going to actually do Mexican names for me and you but I didn't want to tell her mom's maiden name, so because you never know what crazy people that listen to our podcast. Sure. But I found it so funny and so interesting that he would go into detail. But I didn't know that. I've been watching Lucha Libre since probably I was in college, so probably 86, 87, and I never knew what all the what they were doing, but really funny
all right,
stuff.
And then equally clear, we also had Dave explaining what AEW can and can't do with the luchadors. So I've got this one, Silas. I'm good. I got this one.
All right. We thank you,
This
Silas.
is Dave's also crystal clear explanation of that. So AAA wrestlers and CMLL wrestlers are very unlikely to be on the same branded show. At this point, the talent from CMLL has not been on wrestling on a show with anyone else born in Mexican wrestling. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
There was a show with CMLL talent doing a run-in, and Commander was a late addition to the show, and he wrestled, but they didn't. We were told that while it happened, that was an exception to the rule because of the late situation. The ball is basically what CML will accept as the relationship gets stronger. Now, I don't know what the ball meant on that, but anyway. The restrictions, while based on the hatred for AAA, are not AAA talent in the sense that Johnny TV worked regularly for AAA, as did Brian Cage, but they can work on a show with CMLL talent. Ray Phoenix, who hasn't worked for AAA in forever, can't. Bandito can't either. Rocky Romero, who is a non-Mexican CMLL guy, can work on a show where Penta or Phoenix work.
Rocky Romero's non-Mexican?
Non-Mexican CMLL guy is Rocky Romero, I guess. The original rules, as Romero stated when Mystico first came to AEW, was that no other non-CMLL Mexican talent can be on the same TV show as CMLL talent. They can be on the same taping in the sense that CMLL talent is on Rampage and not Dynamite. The other Mexican talent could appear on Dynamite taped the same night. My head is fucking spinning.
What is it? You always say it, and it's a Bugs Bunny reference. Go ahead and say it.
This week is next week's last week. It's
there we
Bugs Bunny
I love it.
So,
yes.
Is it not 2024? Why can these guys not just work wherever the fuck they want? And what is Spanish for romper room? Because that's what this whole thing reminds me.
Man, I want to tell you, CMLL has always been like this. This is not like they're changing anything.
No.
If you work for CMLL, you could work for New Japan. You weren't supposed to be. I mean, it's not like it's
you can't be on the same show as this guy, but that guy can be on the show.
Did you see where everyone got on today because he didn't say it right or something? It was some big deal where Dave was wrong because on one show there was Commander, blah blah. I was like, shut the fuck up, God. But there you go. Mexican names.
It's Commander, isn't it?
Commander, yeah.
We
that's
need to
what
get
you
Silas.
Said. I died. I just think it's so
that.
funny that they do that. Commander.
Commander.
How about we say it? We'll say it in a southern accent. Listen. Oh, Commander's over there. He's stomping on somebody's fingers.
Oh, Commander.
Oh, Commander.
All right. At number 8, we got our MMA corner. We got Dana White. And we've got Gina Carano this month. So,
all right, let me go ahead and play this Dana White thing. Hopefully,
Dana
we won't get.
That's short.
Pulled from the. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Dana White, you are an amazing guy. I can't thank you enough for being
Can you hear
here. You and Ginger seem to be getting along. You are not only an amazing businessman, you are an inspiration. You are a philosopher. The way you do business, the way you conduct your business and your friendships and media is, I'm jealous. But Dana, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.
And he's out of there. So it's Howie Mandel's podcast, which didn't know that Howie Mandel had a podcast, but he does.
He does. I listen to it occasionally.
Highly rated, I'm sure.
With his daughter.
You heard all the praise that he was putting upon Dana White there, saying he's this hero, he's a great guy, he's amazing, a friend. Thank you for being here. Dana picks off his headphones and says, I'm out of here. I'm sick of doing podcasts. Goodbye. And walks out. No explanation. You thought
we haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
A lot of the podcasts
thought it was
about
work
it
at first, but there's been nothing came of this. So I have no idea what the fuck Howie said that offended him, and he walked out.
When I first saw this, I said, oh, that's a work. But no one has said a word about it. It's just the whole thing.
It hasn't led to anything.
You'll know it's a work. Number one, most of the time, if they do something on the indie scene, you'll know it's a work if they work each other again. Mm-hmm. That's what they was trying to do. But if you have them say something and come up with excuses, there's no excuse. Dana's just sick of doing podcasts. That's the way I feel on a Sunday afternoon right there. Fuck this podcast.
Why even agree to go to that studio? Because he's sitting there in the studio with the headphones on.
No, that was funny. But
he wasn't like raging. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like, fuck this shit. I'm out. You know, it wasn't like that. He just literally calmly took off the headphones and says, I'm leaving.
I've always been a Howie Mandel fan. Not big on the comedy part, but just the way he's an oddball and he's just fun to. His daughter does the podcast with him, and I can't remember who I watched, but I have the clips thing where I'll watch clips of it. If and I've said this on the show before, I don't watch a lot of or listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts. It just where I'm in it so much that I want to listen to comedy stuff. So all right, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
That was February 14th. That was Valentine's Day. So not a happy Valentine's Day for Howie Mandel. Then we have fellow whack job Gina Carano. So
I wish she quit talking about her like that.
She's back on in the news on February 6th. She sues Lucasfilms and Disney for wrongful termination because she was fired from The Mandalorian. She was fired in 2021 for posting that Republicans who are unpopular today are just like the Jews that were killed in the Holocaust. That one didn't go over well. She was anti-mask during the COVID pandemic. And she also said that the 2020 election was stolen. So she had also made some anti-gay remarks. She was asked to meet with LGBTQ plus representatives, and she never did. So they let her go. Now she's suing for wrongful termination. So she's not a very Disney-esque.
That's the funny thing. I always thought she was my gaydar goes off with Gina. So I always thought she. You know, I have a hard problem with this whole thing. She said this, now she's fired. I think it's bullshit. She can say what she wants to say. I don't agree with her, but she can say, but Disney, no, like you said, not a Disney person.
Not a Disney person. So, all right. Number 7.
No, wait.
We have
wait. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Here we
go. All right, it's been 74 days. If you're not watching the video section of this or the video version of this, you're crazy. You crazy, man. We do all kinds of fun stuff. It's been 74 days since an incident. Incident includes, well, shit my pants. I hadn't shit my pants.
Woo!
It's 74 days.
That's over 2 months. We're over 2 months now. So
I know it. All right, number 7.
Was that song Tim the Tool Man too?
No. I got that off. That's freeware there.
Nice.
On
all right,
iTunes.
At number 7, we have Dave Shearer exposes himself. So I've heard the name Dave Shearer for years. I don't know who he is. Apparently, he's a PWI insider writer. I know you're going to fill us in on it. But on his Twitter bio, his tagline under his Twitter bio says, "I don't care morons have to say. I didn't ask you to ready my page." So I'm like, maybe you should fucking proofread, you dumbass. So anyway, he tweets on February.
God. Don't ever spell a word wrong, y'all.
You could proofread shit. You want that? You're a journalist and you want that as your bio with all kinds of misspellings? Anyhow, so this guy tweets on February 16th that he started his own newsletter because he knows that Meltzer was wrong all of the time. So, okay, so Meltzer made the mistake about the Triple H or H3 Paul and Dwayne. It was the Paul and Dwayne promo that was old that they ran, and Dave thought it was current. It was years old. Dave apologized. I'm pretty sure Dave's track record is pretty strong overall. So jealousy kills Dave Shearer. What can you fill us in about Dave Shearer?
He's been doing this website forever. You act like he just started the newsletter.
No.
The news site. It's I want to say it used to be onewrestling.com. You get all the stories off of it. What is it?
I don't know.
ProWrestling.net or something like that.
PWI Insider.
No, okay. Is that what it's called now?
Yeah.
PWI Insider. Okay.
Yeah,
it used to be onewrestling.com. I know you remember that. Do you remember the fanzine, the Wrestling Lariat? Do you remember?
I remember the name. Yeah.
That was him.
Okay.
But Dave, well, he was I was communicating with him. Number one, I communicated with him one time, needed to get a hold of Paul Heyman to get a tryout for my 2 teams for ECW. And Dave was great with me. He got me 2 Paul, who got me 2 Dreamer, who got me the tryout. Well, ECW died 2 days later, so I guess I killed ECW.
Yep.
But years later, he was part of our group, I think, for a little bit. And then he sent me a message and said, "I know you're one of Dave's boys or Meltzer's boys. I'll give you I'll give you a month's worth of access to our pay site." And shout out to Brian Thompson. He loves that site. And I said, all right, I appreciate it. I really didn't plan to record PWI Insider. That's what I wasn't going to subscribe, not record, subscribe. Lots of podcasts, even before all these other podcasts happened, and lots of news constantly. Had no problem with it, except it was the site back in the day when you didn't have pop-up blockers and all that stuff, that
Mhm.
would have a gazillion pop-ups. So I was just like, dude, I can't, I don't listen to stuff. I read. And it just seemed like it made him so mad that I read The Observer and wouldn't subscribe to him. Just odd. I do thank you for what get me in connection with Paul to get the ECW tryout, but later on, just strange. But he always told me, he said it all the time when we would talk.
Mhm.
I'm really happy. I'm able to make a living doing this website. I'm really happy that I'm able to make. He told me that over and over. So I don't know what that was about. But yeah, not a fan of Meltzer. Never has been.
Yeah, it's just like to say Meltzer's wrong all of the time. Like that, you pretty much expose yourself right away that you're pretty much you're grasping at straws with something like that. So anyway, all right. At number 6 is our crime blotter. It is overflowing. We got Flip Gordon, we got Liv Morgan, Teddy Hart, and we got Reality of Wrestling, the promotion in Houston. So we got Flip Gordon's wife. I think she's Mrs. Flip. I think that's what we call her. So Mrs. Flip complains that Flip is getting his package groped by the ladies during his matches in CMLL. Which
that's right. That Flip's a big. We thought it was going to be a big star at one time. Yeah.
Anyway, so at least it's not an Exotico grabbing him, or it could be. Maybe we don't know. So Flip Gordon complaining about that sexual assault going on down there. We got Liv Morgan as a free woman, so we should be celebrating that. Florida drops the synthetic weed charges against Liv because they don't have labs that are equipped to tell the difference between real weed and fake weed. So I'm like, well, why are they arresting people then? If that's
stupid. Yeah,
that is the weirdest thing. So anyway,
we talked about that when it happened. The synthetic weed is stupid.
So I'm wondering if Liv is going to take the bro gimmick that Matt Riddle left behind. So she might take that on now.
That was a good joke.
All right, then we got Teddy Hart is Teddy Harding once again in February. So he fails to appear in court on February 8th in Titusville, Florida on possession charges. So a warrant is issued for him.
What? He didn't show up? What?
Did not show up for court. There is no warrant issued for the Cats, we're told. The Cats are still on the loose. And they're free.
Good deal.
So that's a good deal. And then finally, we have a stalker in Reality of Wrestling. So February 10th, we have wrestler Rachel Rose alleging that Booker T fired her over another wrestler, Sean Reed, stalking her. So she was told that a trespass order was taken out against Reed. Houston cops say, no, there was no trespass order. We don't know what you're talking about. So Rose shows up at a bar, her favorite bar that she likes to go to. Booker tells her to leave because Reed is there. So Booker says she's got to go. So then Reed is pissed. He posts that he was let go and he went to the ring or the Reality of Wrestling school with a gun, but he had no intention of using it. Why would you say that, dumbass? I had a gun, but I didn't use it. Just you putting people in a really bad state of mind there. So what a mess. Booker T runs a school and a promotion that doesn't know what the fuck is going on and has no idea how to handle it. So we have all of those crime blotter issues at number 6.
I can't say a bad word
Teddy
about
Hart.
I'm not a huge Booker commentary fan, but man, running a wrestling school and all the things that go on, it's hard knowing everything that happens. Everybody that's run a wrestling school will tell you they will find out halfway down the thing that someone was sleeping with someone else and they didn't even know it. There's just so much stuff going on. Teddy Hart being Teddy Hart, and exactly what you said, and I would go to CMLL and go ahead and let those girls grope me if they need to, creep. And place a flip. I'll go out and place a flip. Teddy Hart, I wanted to make the joke that I made one time on this podcast was that I found out after watching the Teddy Hart documentary what your hell is going to be if you go to hell. It's going to be they got to make you stay in that house that smells like cat piss, which you hate cats, and pot. So there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That is your hell, man.
That is
your hell. All right, guys, we're taking a commercial break, which means we're going off the live feed. And so we're ending the live feeds. You're on a feed. You're on a live feed in stream. Maybe we'll still be recording. I hope I don't screw this up.